Hey everyone, so in today's video, let's do a brake refresh for my Audi R8. Now, as you can tell, they are red. Most R8s came from the factory with black calipers, so I wanted to change it up on my car since you couldn't really see them. The red I thought was a great choice. As you can see, I have some other red accents currently on the car. So about 3 years ago, I decided to tackle this project. I used a paint that was supposed to be removable. You could peel it off if you didn't like it, and it worked really well on my brother's Supra and his GTR. However, on the Audi R8, I cleaned this caliper. This is how it looks when it is perfectly cleaned, but as you can tell, it's stained. That is not coming off. So I think the brake dust from this car, the reaction with this paint, it just didn't do anything to it. So I'll show a clip of how they should have looked when I first did it on the car to where they are right now. And this is not peeling off, so I'll show you what I'll be doing here soon. The rear calipers really aren't that bad. Of course, I will be changing the color of them too, or working on them, but they are definitely a lot more red than the fronts. So as you can tell, it's still a little black in some areas, and it's just stained the paint that way. So this is what I am doing. As you can tell with this caliper, I still have some touching up to do as far as getting all of that paint off, but I am basically down to not even the factory black anymore. So I'm getting rid of most all of that, and I will be using this sanding pad on my drill. So I'll have a link down below where you can get pads like that, and that's what I will be doing with the rest of these three to get all of this paint off. So it is a tedious project doing this. Now, if you've painted your calipers before, this is a process that you should do to get rid of that paint, so that way you can have a nice prepped surface in order for the paint to adhere. If I was doing this for the first time with the black calipers, I would just have to use the cleaning solution that this kit comes with, make sure it's cleaned, prepped, and ready for the paint, and then you can go from there. So if you're looking to change up the color of your calipers, maybe on a vehicle you bought, you want to do that, you will have to do this step. It's pretty tedious, but it's going to be worth it in the end. So just a quick update with the progress that I've made so far. The paint is actually like getting into clusters basically. So I'm almost moving it around the caliper, which is why it's taking so long to get off. You can see part of underneath the caliper, so it's working its way there. It's just going to take some time. Now I am using a medium pad here. With the kit that I got, there was a coarse, a medium, and a fine, I believe. I don't want to rough it up too bad that it scratches the caliper and it makes it another step that I have to do. So I'm taking my time with this medium one just to get that off and keep the caliper in as good of condition as I can. So I've made it this far on one battery, and honestly, I don't know how much farther I will be able to go. I haven't found any cone style pads that I can use to try to get into some of these nooks and crannies. So I'm going to try to do it by hand. I'm just using a 400 grit sandpaper, so it's pretty fine in order to just smooth this. But the front is very, very soft. We have some edges on the sides that are going to be a little bit rough. So I think I'm going to try to do as much by hand now as I can just to get this up to what I think it should. Now the product that I'm using is going to harden just like the epoxy floor that I have here. So I don't think that should be too much of an issue, but I'll look into it just to see before I actually start. So it's a new day. I've been doing a lot off camera, just getting my bearings with this kit that arrived and just what I have to do in preparation. I went ahead and ceramic coated my wheels, so gave them a good rinsing and then sprayed them again. It's been about 2, maybe 3 years since I last did that, so I figured while they're off the car, might as well tackle that as well. But let's take a look at this kit. So this is the G2 brake caliper paint system. It comes with this brake parts cleaner, which I will show what I've been using that for. We also have the paint itself. There's a reactor for that. We have a few brushes because it is the brush on method, and then we have a stir and some rubber gloves too. Now with the brake cleaner, I decided to start on the passenger side just to see what it would do. And it definitely took a lot more off than what I've been doing with the sander. Now you also notice earlier I said I think I ruined the calipers. That's actually the factory R8 badging just underneath there. So I actually have the factory paint that is showing underneath. So this paint is coming off. However, I did run out of that cleaner. So the kit comes with 1 cleaner per kit. I got 2 kits, so I am saving the other can for the other side, and I'm just going to try and get as much off as I can. I'm going to be a little bit more diligent on the other side to see if I have some left over for this side here. So if you are not removing paint like this, 1 can is going to be enough, but I am going to have to figure out how to get a little bit more off. You'll also notice too that I'm taping up the paint because this is paint remover. I don't want to remove the paint from the actual car. So because I don't have a lot for doing this, the kit wasn't designed to necessarily remove this amount or this much paint. I am being very diligent this time around. The first time I was just spraying it almost all over the place, but now I just want to hit most of the important spots. And I kind of wish I knew that beforehand, because this is amazing what it can do here. I'm also wearing my protective safety gear because this is spraying back. You don't want to get it in your eyes. So the instructions for this kit is pretty straightforward. It is a lot more than just grabbing some spray paint like I did for the first time I painted these. But basically, once I open this can, I'm going to pour in the reactor. I'm going to stir it up, mix it up very well, and then let it sit for 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, I can stir it up a little bit and then it will be ready to use. Now I have 3 different size paint brushes that I will be using. And then from there, I have maybe 2 to 4 hours to work with this, so it's a good bit of time, but I want to work as quickly as possible since I have another can that I need to use. Now, once I do 1 coat on 1 caliper, I have to let that sit for about 15 minutes before doing a second coat. And then after that, it will take 2 hours for them to cure, and then 24 hours before I can actually drive the vehicle. So I have a little bit of a time crunch. I don't want to rush, but I just want to go over everything because I'm basically just going to set up the camera and you're going to watch me paint the calipers. I ended up doing around 5 coats and I still have paint left over from the very first can. So I didn't open up the second can, meaning that I have that for another project down the road or something. So even with large calipers like this, you only need 1 kit in order to complete this. And the reason that I did 5 kits is because once it hardens, it is no longer going to be ready to use. So I wanted to just do as many coats as possible just to at least use it and have a really nice shine here. So I'll throw in a before so you could see the caliper when it was cleaned, even though it was stained, versus now with the red. Now I also have to add the logos. So of course I'm going to wait the 2 hours for that. Honestly, this wasn't that hard of a project to do. And I think it was a little bit better than spray paint just because I didn't have as much overspray or anything because it was painted, of course. Now, there was something that I did do that I may or may not have mentioned earlier. I did take out a few parts with the calipers just to get a little bit better clearance. I just taped up the brake pads. I did not remove them like I did when I spray painted them. So I just taped them up real good. I didn't touch the rears at all simply because they were easier to reach. So finally, my calipers are back to being brand new. I also went ahead and ceramic coated them a few times as well, just to help with that brake dust too. So I'm really hoping that along with doing my wheels, which I did in the past, I didn't ceramic coat the first time that I painted these calipers. So I'm hoping with this product here, along with the ceramic coating, that these are going to stay red. Now, with the brush on method versus spray paint, you can see a little bit of the brush marks. Now, I think maybe doing more coats could help with that. My garage lighting throws it off a little bit. So outside in the normal sunlight, it may not look like it has some texture to it, but it's really not all that bad. You might not even be able to notice. And then as far as how the calipers hold up with the brake dust and everything, follow us on Instagram at Bros for Speed. I'll make a post in a few months just with the update and how they're doing with how I prep them with the coating and everything. So that way you can get a feel for how this product actually lasts over time. But I also decided to change the logo too. So we have that hollow square there to give it a really cool look. So overall, I'm happy with this. I'm into this project under $150. I didn't need that second can, so that was about 60 some dollars for that. And then I bought some brake cleaners. They didn't work as well as the one that came in the kit. So honestly, I'm glad that I had 2 cans of that. So that was definitely beneficial, but you can do this for under $70, $80 in your garage. You can get it done in a few days, depending on the prep that you have to do. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I'll link all of the products that I used down in the description below as well, so you can take a look at everything that I had for this project. Next up, we have another cosmetic change for my car. So this is the first step in preparing my car for a complete change and overhaul that should be coming fairly soon. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned for that, along with the rest of our daily uploads. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I will see you all in the next video.